it is truly my pleasure to introduce Peyman to kick us off for the day, the CEO of Logicbroker. Please welcome him to the stage, and thank you all. Have an excellent afternoon.
Thank you, Jess, for that introduction. I'm very excited to be here, and I know a lot of you are excited too, talking to you last night and this morning. I know mostly you're excited about partying later on, especially with that fishbowl, picturing it drinking beer out of that thing. On a serious note, we are in a great era of digital commerce, this quarter-century-old industry that's changing constantly. Let's look at the early days. This is the first decade when this electronic commerce thing came about, and I remember it was mid-90s that I fell in love with e-commerce. And I said I was getting tired of building corporate intranet, boring stuff. I'm like, what a concept to buy things on internet and ship it to your house. Wow, that's cool. I want to be part of that. And the way e-commerce was built back in the days, a couple of rogue resources in your organization or some entrepreneurial developers, marketer, merchandiser getting together, putting systems together, gluing things together, getting a little warehouse, getting a bunch of product, and boom, you have this beautiful website. Wow, look at that. That left nav bar, that was cutting edge. And customers, we were used to placing order, and it takes 5 minutes until the next page load up and you get your order. And that was okay because customer experience didn't really matter because we were all buying $300 items online that there were $1,000 in the stores. Selling below cost, growing your top line, go public, make a bunch of money, and we know how that ended up. And we don't really want to talk about the 2000 bubbles and e-commerce getting a bad rep. Let's fast forward to now and looking into the next quarter century. We're at the age of digital commerce, where customer experience matters. We're buying the right things at the right price online, and getting it quickly, like George was saying earlier, is a norm. There are no channels. Offline, online, stores, VR, voice, social commerce. Customer is going to buy however they want to buy, and we have to be ready for that. And digital commerce now is a respectful department. It's no longer dragging down the P&L, and it's, if anything, it's shaping the future of your organization if you're serious about growing online business. These are the folks that are detecting trend, launching pilot program, fully launching it, and helping us grow. With these digital commerce resources is how we're going to win and make money in this business. So what's next? What's specifically going to happen in the next decade, next year, the year after? Well, I don't really know. If I knew, it could be a plain lotto or being at the blackjack table. You're like, wait a minute, I came here today so Peyman and his colleagues tell me what's going on. What is this? Don't worry. We have some intuition, some ideas. We have some good session about future of e-commerce, about customer experience, using data to make decision. We're even going to show you how to build an app on the fly. No programming skills necessary. And so some of you might say, well, I know what's going on in 10 years. We have a cool technology. I'm right on top of my customer. I know exactly what's going to happen. Well, let's see how things can change in 10 years. Let's look at the history. This is one of my favorite slides that Eddie, our head of product, always talks about. In 1900, going down Fifth Avenue, everybody riding their horses, carriages. Look at the cool new carriage I got. And boom, a few years later come these horseless irons. What the heck is this? What am I going to do with my business? How am I going to sell my horses? What am I going to do? You need to adapt, put up a gas station, put up a traffic coordination, and so forth, and we know how that happened. Another 10-year comparison, recently, in 2000, Wiring the network, it was the coolest thing. You want to be at your office, you got a wire, have like 20 Ethernet running to each cubes, and some of you probably don't even know Ethernet, folks that just graduated from college. And I remember I built my house in 2003. I had to make sure there is wire every room, and it's so cool. Now I don't even think I have anything plugged into anywhere. So how do you deal with change? How do you get ready for it? And how do you monetize on it? At the end of the day, we're in the business of making money. That's why we're here. Well, you need to embrace the connected commerce, connected business, connected commercial, whether it's connectivity with your consumer, whether it's connectivity with your partners, whether it's your competitor or your technology partner. Let's say your technology shopping cart partner just came out with a new API. You're like, oh, cool, now I can build that mobile app without worrying about hiring army of developers. Or your warehouse and fulfillment solution is coming out with a cool vendor portal. Now you can hook up all your B2B customer and have a consumer-like experience. Or you learn from your competitor that they're hooking up their ERP with their dropship platform with Zapier. Now Zapier, that's a cool platform. And don't ignore your competitor. You could learn from your competitor. I know we have folks here that we might think we're competitor, but it's all about collaboration. I learn a thing or two from my competitor, they learn a thing or two from me, we learn from each other's mistakes, we capitalize sometimes on that. You know, that's the game, but you never know what's gonna happen. Another way to stay with your connected commerce is data. I love data, making data-driven decisions. At Logicbroker, we process a lot of data. We manage a lot of data. Every time we come up with some, our sales organization says, oh, I need this, this, this. I'm like, okay, where is the data? Let's look at it. Is it really going to drive revenue? Is it going to make our customer happy? So I'm going to walk you through some data here today. We survey over 1,000 users on our platform, and we got some great responses. And what are they saying about themselves? Amazingly, almost half of them, 50%, close to 50%, identify them as both buyer and seller. It's very interesting, but it's not surprising. You see the trend happening in the industry that brands are selling online directly. You know, you got fossil.com, you got mymnm.com, buy, share a Coke, barbies.mattel.com, so on and so forth. But these brands are also selling to their retailer through a dropship program or through a wholesaler. And they're trying to make some money while Walmart and Amazon battling it out and trying to set trends for online shopping. Speaking of Amazon, let's see what they said about Amazon relationship. Fascinating. Almost 70% of them think of Amazon as a partner. Even though they think they're a competitor, they still think they're a partner also. Why is that? Well, Amazon is driving online shopping business model, just like Walmart was doing that only 20 years ago for the retail stores and how suppliers have to sell. And at the end of the day, if you're a brand or you're a supplier or you're a distributor, you're going to have competition. You're going to have competition that you don't even know about. You have some competitor, somebody building some cool product in some country that is importing it, or they're building it somewhere in Midwest. And at least with Amazon, you know what you're getting yourself into. And you can also, as your business grows and become profitable, then you can choose to move to the 32% and compete with Amazon head to head. Because at the end of the day, we know Mr. Bezos says to his competitors, their margin is my opportunity. And you want to protect that margin because we're at the age of digital commerce. We're not in e-commerce anymore when you sell below cost and hope for growing. And if I'm selling products, I'd be afraid of Amazon too. They got over 480 million products online. They got over 140 fulfillment centers, probably more. That was a number a few weeks ago. They probably have 3 more that they just emailed us add to our system. They have another 450 mini warehouses through Whole Food acquisition. I know you might say, well, those are stores. They're not mini warehouses. To me, any physical location you can walk in and shop stuff, they can ship products too. and they're building a logistic with trucks, plane, and freights. In one of my infrequent retail visit over the weekend with my wife, after being tortured for an hour and pushing a physical shopping cart, they keep going sideways. I don't know why they do that to you, and it always goes sideways. Then I'm coming back all of a sudden, I look at this truck, I'm like, man, they're coming. So, and let's look at, so what are these customers doing about the future? What are they focusing on the next 5 years? Well, of course, they're focusing on growing online business. And how are they doing that? They're doing that by investing in product, whether it's building it themselves or partnering up with somebody, or building warehouses, expanding warehouses, or investing in the technology, or innovating. Here's an idea for innovation. If you're an average mid-sized retailer, successful in the US, you probably have 500 stores, let's say. What if you empower, back to that mini warehouse, what if you empower each store to ship only 5 orders a day? 2,500 orders a day you can ship. I know we hear the excuse, well, online store is not my strategy. I'm only responsible for retail stores' P&L. Well, if you don't do it, there'll probably not be a P&L for you to manage. Or another excuse is my staff is too busy servicing other folks. Last time I went to a retail store, there wasn't a line of people at the cash register. So you need to adapt. You need to embrace the connected commerce. Almost 60% of them have, more than half of their revenue is coming from online. And if you're not getting that stat, you should at least have half of it. And really, online, offline, it doesn't matter. Again, channels are integrating. You need to just grow online, whether it's stores, VR, fax, mail, however it happens. You just have to focus on competing and embracing connected commerce. By the way, if some of you are still processing order via fax and mail, we need to chat later on. We can have that in Connected Commerce 17. Maybe Connected Commerce 1900. So let's wrap up some points. Talk to your partners. Your partners share business plan. They're probably focusing on the same goals that you are focused on. Collaborate with your competitors. Don't just hide in your shell and say, hey, I don't want to share anything. I'm not saying open the kimono and then show them your all business plan, but you never know. Your competitor might become your partner might become competitor. It's changing very dramatically. If technology is not your core competency, don't make it. There are plenty of partners here, out there, that technology is their core competency. Partner up with them. I can guarantee you your TCO would be much lower on the long run. And you know what? If you win, they win. They thrive on your success. If building a product is your core competency, then build more. If you have a nice website that it's cutting edge, invest in it. If you have a cool shipping algorithm, package it and share it with everybody. Don't ignore the trends. You don't want to have a store full of horses and carriages where nobody's buying them. But don't jump on every trend either. Support it with data, pilot it, and then expand it. Maybe you'll be a trendsetter. Just because we watch a YouTube about flying cars doesn't mean tomorrow we're going to be Ubering on flying cars or have drone dropping packages on our doorstep. But if that's happening, monitor that trend, and maybe you want to do that. Maybe you want to bypass Amazon and leapfrog. And for one thing that is going to stay, I can guarantee you, the next quarter century and years to come in digital commerce, and it was the era of e-commerce, you need to run your organization like an entrepreneur. You cannot get compliance. Just like Mr. Bezos says every year in his letter to his shareholder and board, it's always day one at Amazon. It's never day two, because when it's day two, you become compliant, and guess what? You become obsolete. We got a great session. Thank you so much. I'll be here. We can chat later.